Hi everybody, it's Kelly Holland. I'm here with Lisa Somerville and we are going to present to you our Beautiful Backgrounds virtual event. This video is going to focus on our pattern background dies. First up is our lattice background, and it's very detailed. And all the dies in this video will show you lots of different patterns. Makes card making very easy. Let me show you some card samples for the lattice background. Here we have it. Isn't that gorgeous? Little gems inside all the little areas. Here it's popped up. Very dimensional card. Used along with a tag and a couple of flowers. Makes a gorgeous card. And here we have it with one of our square dies with the frame cut out of it. This is the quatrefoil background. It's a beautiful pattern. We had a recently retired quatrefoil background and we kind of brought it back but changed it up. We reduced the pattern so you could have more of the quatrefoil designs in it. There we go. Let me show you some samples. And this one, it was used with the pearlized cardstock, and then all the pieces were left in, create an interesting background, along with our cross-layering combo die. There's another beautiful example. This one's used along with some our pierced frames. Creates a great look. Gives a lot of detail and dimension. It is with one of our stamps. And then here's a nice white on white with our frangipani dies, and Happy Easter. Here's our pierced heart background with all those opening and dashes. Show you some card samples. Here we have it. Dark pink and light pink. This one with the red. Heart layering combo die. And a little monster set. This one's a little shaker. Our shaker heart frame. It's a beautiful wedding card. Used with thank you. Here it is where it shows through to the silver glitter paper. The I love you is put in glitter also. Just gorgeous. And here we have an interesting card. Lisa has done a tutorial on this one. This one opens up. It's a see-through card. She shows you how to line up the hearts. Look for a link for this card. So pretty. Here we have our pierced wedding ring background. This is an old quilt pattern called Wedding Ring. Again, you see the lighter color of purple, indicating you should emboss this die for best results. First, I have two cards with the die being used on metallic cardstock. You can see a lot of detail on the metallic cardstock. This is actually more of a mirror cardstock. There you can see the embossing. Really good here. Really adds a lot to the card. This card shows how the die was used with stenciling to stencil some of the embossed areas in a darker color. Here we just have it in white. Another white. We have a lot of different wedding dies. You could check those out on the website. Here we have some vellum laid over the top. You see the detail on the edges. And in one of our videos, I showed you the flourished background gatefold card. This is the gatefold. Whoops. This die is called chicken wire. And this die has embossed areas, and that will give you detail on the chicken wire die to show you where the wire is crimped. Let me show you some samples. There's one there with our farm animals. You can see it up close here. It coordinates with our barn die set and also all our farm animals, chickens. This is a Z-fold card. We saw that die. And that's a chicken wire background. Here we have our scallop chain. Openings in the die indicate embossing. In this card you can see that the embossed areas were also stenciled. As well as this card. Here we have it on our trifold card. The panel was just layered to the front. Isn't that a beautiful wedding card? And then also for the sympathy card. Fits right in behind the frame. Adds a lot of visual interest. Here we have our diamond layering combo die set. And it's very large. There's 3 dies in it. And all 3 layer together to create the diamond layering effect. You could also use it with one of our rectangle backgrounds for a solid piece on the back. We did cover this in our layering combo dies, but I want to show you some cards to show how it's just a beautiful background. Here it is with a couple different colors. You can mix and match colors. You could do them all the same. There's just so many ways to use these dies. Here we have white, which is the pop of the silver. It's a beautiful card here, using the beautiful blossom stamp paper die duos. As well as this one. You can see all the layers were in white, but you could still see each one. So pretty. Here we have a shaker card. It's done in black, white, and a copper. Some copper colored sequins inside. Another fall themed card using our flower layering combo die. Here it is with our butterfly layering combo. Some nice gold glitter paper. Then here we have some different yellows, along with our buzzing gnomes paper die duo and our busy bee die. Here we have our sunburst background. We also have a die called Stitched Sunburst, and we will be covering that in another video with our stitch dies. But we're going to go over this one in this video. So here we have a lot of openings, and a lot of people think that those are going to cut out, but those openings do not have cut lines around them. So when you emboss the die, it raises the paper on it, and that's what creates your visual effect. So I will show you some card samples, and you'll see we've indicated in purple, and that means embossing and not being cut. So you can see here it's been embossed, and the die added the raised panels, and it also added the stitching. And that's used along with the heart layering combo die. You can see really good on this card because there's a lot of area. You see how everything is raised. This one's been embossed very well. Most people have an embossing pad that comes with their machines, or you could buy them separately. And it's a little rubbery pad. You just follow instructions for your machine. Another one. These are all in white. Here's one with our gilded gate. Just add a stitch circle for the sun. You could also use it on pattern paper. It's from our landscape paper pad. Is that pretty that is? It's another one. This one's a little harder to see. You can see the stitching pretty good. This one was used on handmade paper on top. It's another one of our background papers. Our lily dies. Beautiful skyline. Here's one just done to make a sky with the clouds. This one's made to be a beach sunset. Another sunset with a lake or an ocean for fishing. So you can see by doing the stenciling on these cards, it brings out a lot of detail also. So you just leave the paper inside the die and stencil through the openings. It's with our fence, our flowers. Cowboy card. This is the US flag die. And then we show you a sample down here, how you could do one section in the blue, then you cut it out again in white, and then you cut it out again in red. When you put everything together, you create the US flag. Let me show you some samples. Here it is with the blue piece added, red stripes, white stripes. This was made, the base was done in white. This card had the base cut out in silver. So you'd have a little bit of a contrast for the white and the red and the blue. Here's our musical note background. See the openings. You know that means embossing. Bring out the detail. Here's the background using the musical note background. You can find additional samples on our website.
Hi everybody, this is Lisa Somerville. Thank you, Kelly, for sharing Divinity Designs pattern background dies and samples. I'm here to share with you some additional samples and tutorials using our background pattern dies. Divinity Designs background pattern dies are designed to be used with our A2 landscape card base with layer or A2 portrait card base with layer die sets. The A2 landscape card base with layer die set is a set of 2 dies. This die will cut and score your cardstock to create an A2 size card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. The layer die is 4 by 5 1/4. The A2 portrait card base with layer die set is a set of 2 dies. This die will cut and score your cardstock to create an A2 size card base, 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5.5. The layer is 4 by 5 1/4. Here you can see our A2 portrait card base along with the layering die. When using the layering die with these two die sets, you'll want to be sure to emboss this die following the directions for your die cutting machine. Anytime you see two shades of purple on the packaging or the web images, that does indicate that you should emboss your dies for best results. The additional die that you'll see me use on a lot of my A2 cards is the matting rectangle. The matting rectangle is approximately 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 and will mat a 4 by 5 1/4 rectangle. The matting rectangle adds a pop of color between the layering panel and the A2 base panel. If you're looking to create coordinating envelopes for your A2 cards, Divinity Designs also carries an A2 envelope die. Please note that this die is an extra large die. A large die cutting machine is needed to cut this die. Now, before I share a few tutorials with you, I'm going to share with you a few card samples that I have on hand that I've created using Divinity Designs pattern background dies. If you have any questions about the products used on the card shown in this video, you can use the leave a message button on our website to send us an email. The background on this card is our sunburst background die. This die embosses. These next two cards feature our diamond layering combo die set. This is a set of 3 dies. You'll die cut and layer all dies to form the dimensional background. We do have an additional video on our diamond layering combo dies on the diamond layering combo product page on our website. The flowers that you see on this card are from our beautiful Blossoms paper die duo set. You'll see me use this later on in one of the tutorials. This next background is our leaf outline background die. And here we have the pierced heart background. And shown here is the pierced waves background. I'll also be using this die in one of the tutorials. And just like the diamond layering combo die, we also have an additional layering combo die that's A2 background size. That's the Monstera layering combo die set that you see on this card here. This die is currently part of our Blessings Box subscription kit. Again, our layering combo dies are sets of dies that you die cut and layer together. Here we have layer 1, layer 2, and layer 3. You can adhere those together. Place on top of a piece of pattern paper. Adhere to the matting rectangle, then to the base card, and then you can further embellish using additional Divinity Design stamps or dies. In this tutorial, I'm going to be sharing with you the Pierced Waves background die along with additional Divinity Designs products. I've already die cut, foiled, and embossed all the pieces I'm going to need to create this card. First, I'll show you the products I'm going to use, and then we'll assemble the card. This card starts out with the A2 portrait card base with layer die set, the matting rectangle die. In addition to those dies, we have the Pierced Waves background, the Vintage Labels 2 die set, which is a set of 5, and the Pierced Vintage Labels 2, which is also a set of 5. The Vintage Labels 2 die set layers on top of the Pierced Vintage Labels 2 die set, just like you see in this card here. In addition to those products, we're going to be using the Floral Favorites paper pad. The 6x9 paper pad collection features 32 designer papers, 4 sheets of each design. I'm also going to be using the beautiful Blossoms Paper Die Duo Set 3. Paper Die Duo contains 2 different floral patterns, 4 sheets of each floral pattern, along with 1 coordinating die set for each floral pattern. Our beautiful Blossoms Paper Die Duo sets are also available in the refill pack. The refill packs coordinate with our beautiful Blossoms Paper Die Duo sets. In addition to those products, I'm also using the All Occasion Foiling Die Duo set. This is a set of 2. It contains both the foiling plate and the coordinating die so that you can foil all of your sentiments at one time and then die cut them all at one time. To use our foiling products, you'll need both a foiling machine and a coordinating die cutting machine. You can always tell our foiling products because they're printed in yellow on both the packaging and the web images. If you don't own a foiling machine, this is also available in a stamp die duo. So again, here you can see I already have all my pieces die cut and foiled to create my card. The Pierced Waves background die was die cut from the Floral Favorites paper pad. That'll get adhered to the matting rectangle and then to the base card. And here I have the Vintage Labels 2 die cut and embossed from white cardstock, and the Pierced Vintage Labels 2 die set die cut and embossed from the pink cardstock. You'll adhere those two panels together. Again, the floral images come from our Beautiful Blossoms paper die duo set. You'll simply align the die over the pre-printed images, add removable tape to hold that die in place, then die cut following the directions for your die cutting machine. That will leave you the beautiful die cut floral images that you see that you can use as embellishments on your cards or scrapbook pages. Again, my sentiment comes from the All Occasion Foiling Die Duo set. You can see here that I silver foiled on white cardstock. You can also use the negative area of your foiling along with our solid plate, and then you would have white cardstock showing through the silver foiling. I'll be sharing more ideas on foiling in the background foiling video. I did die cut the Thinking of You additional times so that I can stack those die cut pieces together to create dimension behind the Thinking of You foiled words. I'll be adhering those pieces together using Burley Art Craft glue. Here you can see the embellished panel is all set to be added to the base card. I did add foam tape to the back side for added dimension, and then I'll adhere in place. But before I adhere that embellished panel to the card base, I wanted to share with you two additional dies that you could use along with our background dies to change the look of the background dies. We have the A2 Thin Pierced Frame die and our Pierced Frames die set. Both of these dies completely cover your A2 card panel. And here's the largest die from the Pierced Frames die set. You can see by using these additional dies that you can create a different look using our pattern background dies. Here's my finished card. Now I have one more tutorial to share with you using our pattern background die. In this tutorial, I'm going to be using the Pierced Wedding Ring background die. Again, you'll die cut and emboss this die following the directions for your die cutting machine. Embossing the die will bring out the details of the die. Here's the die cut and embossed panel. And here's the die cut and embossed panel where I went back and added stenciling to the embossed areas of the die. To add stenciling to your die cut panels after die cutting and embossing, simply leave that die cut and embossed cardstock within the die. Then use one of our blending brushes and ink to apply ink over the die. That'll add ink to the embossed areas of the die cut panel. If adding stenciling to your die cuts, be sure to clean the die before storing it for its next use. In addition to the Pierced Wedding Ring background die, I'm going to be using a sentiment from the Lovebird stamp set. I'm going to silver emboss that on white cardstock, then die cut and emboss that panel using the Circles die set. That'll get adhered to a die cut and embossed panel from the Pierced Circles die set. I'm also going to be using the All Occasions Foiling Die Duo set. Again, this is a set of two. It includes the foiling plate and the coordinating die. The A2 Portrait Card Base with Layer die set. And the floral paper is from the Wedding Flowers Slimline Paper Pad collection. This 6x9 paper pad features 30 designer papers, 5 sheets of each design. Adhere the two circle panels together, then set those aside. Adhere the Pierced Wedding Ring die cut and embossed background panel to the layering panel from the A2 Portrait Card Base with Layer die set. Then adhere that to the base card. Now to finish this card, you can add the foiled sentiment and the heat embossed die cut embellishment panel. But I'm going to step this card up a notch and I'm going to add the Pierced Frames die cut panel. And the Pierced Frames die cut panel completely covers your A2 card. Here's my completed card. Thank thank you again for joining us for our Beautiful Backgrounds event. This video featured our pattern background dies. For more inspiration using these and additional Divinity Designs products, visit the product pages on our website, like us on Facebook, or follow us on Pinterest and Instagram.